What if one quiet flute solo changed the entire direction of Western music? That's exactly what happened with Debussy's Prelude to the Afternoon of a Faun, a piece so original, so atmospheric, that even composers like Stravinsky call it the true beginning of modern music. My name is Hayrudin Juja, I'm a pianist-composer, and a while back some of you suggested I make a video analyzing Debussy's Prelude to the Afternoon of a Faun. I've been sitting with that idea for a while, and I finally decided to do it. This will be the first of two videos where I'll explore a piece from different angles. Its history, program, harmony, form, and of course Debussy's incredible orchestration. It's a piece that changed the course of music, but it also has this timeless quality that makes it feel just as fresh today. So let's dive in and see what makes this piece so fascinating. Debussy's Prelude to the Afternoon of a Faun was inspired by a poem by Stéphane Mallarmé, a leading figure of the French Symbolist movement. Debussy was fascinated by this entire literary movement, which sought to evoke emotions and impressions rather than telling straightforward stories. His music captures that same dreamlike suggestive quality. Originally, Debussy planned to write a multi-movement work based on Mallarmé's poem, but as the prelude took shape, he felt it said everything he wanted to express. The result is this singular movement, a piece that feels complete in itself, like a fleeting yet perfect moment. At its premiere in 1894, the audience was so enchanted that they demanded an immediate encore. Even Mallarmé, who was initially skeptical about his poem being transformed into music, was won over. After the performance, he wrote to Debussy, "I have just come out of the concert, deeply moved. The marvel, your illustration of the Afternoon of a Faun, which presents no dissonance with my text, but goes much further, really, into nostalgia, into light, with finesse, with sensuality, with richness. I shake your hand admiringly, Debussy. Yours, Mallarmé." Now that we have set the stage with the history of Debussy's Prelude, let's take a closer look at its program. This poem tells a story of a faun caught between dream and reality. A mythical creature, half man, half goat, basking in the heat of an afternoon, lost in a haze of memory and desire. He recalls a fleeting encounter with the nymphs, their beauty lingering in his mind, but he can't decide if these moments were real or imagined. The line between dream and reality begins to dissolve. The faun's thoughts are filled with sensual longing, nature's vivid imagery, and the intoxicating allure of the nymphs. He questions whether his desires are merely illusions created by his own mind as he drifts deeper into reverie. The poem doesn't offer clarity, it's intentionally ambiguous, capturing the fleeting, dreamlike quality of memory, desire, and fantasy. Debussy's music captures this hazy atmosphere perfectly, with its lush, flowing textures and the languid interplay of melodies that seem to wander like the faun's own thoughts. To fully understand the atmosphere of this piece, it's essential to consider the broader artistic context in which it was created, especially the Symbolist movement. Symbolism emerged in late 19th century France as a reaction against realism and naturalism. Instead of portraying the world in literal detail, Symbolist artists and writers sought to capture inner experiences, dreams, moods, and emotions through suggestion and metaphor. This was a world of shadows, half-meaning, and mystery. Debussy was profoundly influenced by this movement. He had strong personal and artistic ties to Symbolist poets, especially Mallarmé, whose poem inspired the whole prelude. Mallarmé's work avoids clear narrative and instead evokes sensations, the shimmer of sunlight, the scent of flowers, the longing of a summer afternoon. Debussy translated these qualities into sound, lush, atmospheric harmonies and fluid melodies that resist traditional structure. The music doesn't tell a story, it suggests one. Just as Mallarmé blurred the line between reality and illusion, Debussy blurred the line between harmony and melody, creating something that feels spontaneous, fleeting, and deeply intimate. Debussy composed Prelude to the Afternoon of a Faun in 1894, a time when the art world was undergoing rapid transformation. Impressionism has already shaken the foundations of painting. In music, however, Romanticism still held sway, and Debussy's work signaled a shift towards modernism. With the Prelude, Debussy broke away from traditional forms and harmonic progressions. This piece opened the door to new harmonic language, eventually influencing composers like Ravel, Stravinsky, and even Messiaen decades later. At its premiere, the work was met with astonishment and admiration. Many recognized that this was something new, something that marked the end of one musical era and the beginning of another. While Debussy's Prelude to the Afternoon of a Faun was originally conceived as a concert piece, it gained an entire new layer of meaning in 1912 when it was adapted into a ballet by the legendary company Russian Ballet. Founded by impresario Sergei Diaghilev, the Russian Ballet was a revolutionary company based in Paris. It brought together some of the most visionary artists of the early 20th century, choreographers, composers, designers, and dancers, redefining what ballet could be. And it was through this avant-garde collective that Debussy's Faun was brought to life on stage in a bold new way. The ballet version was choreographed and performed by Václav Nijinsky, the company's principal dancer and one of the most influential figures in the history of modern dance. His choreography for Afternoon of a Faun was radical at the time, characterized by stylized angular movements inspired by ancient Greek vase paintings and friezes. It marked a sharp departure from the soaring elegance of classical ballet, bringing a new kind of grounded physicality to the stage. The visual elements were designed by Léon Bakst, whose rich, dreamlike sets and costumes perfectly complemented the hazy, sensual atmosphere of Debussy's music and Mallarmé's poetry. Bakst was also responsible for the striking promotional posters, which visually captured the modern and exotic aspects of the production. Together, music, movement, and design fused into a complete artistic vision, a hallmark of Diaghilev's Russian ballet productions. However, the creation of the ballet was not without internal conflict. Michel Fokine, the Ballets Russes leading choreographer at the time and a key architect of its early success, was reportedly displeased with Diaghilev's decision to give Nijinsky full choreographic control over the piece. Fokine believed Nijinsky lacked sufficient experience and saw the move as both an artistic and personal slight. This tension marked a pivotal moment within the company, signaling a shift in creative leadership. Diaghilev, however, was unwavering in his support of Nijinsky, who he admired artistically. He saw in Nijinsky's Faun a bold new direction for ballet, one that embraced modernism, abstraction, and psychological depth. Diaghilev reportedly defended the work passionately, understanding that such innovation would provoke resistance but ultimately move the art form forward. Although some traditionalists were unsettled by the production, it was widely recognized as a moment of artistic breakthrough. The ballet solidified the Russian ballet reputation as a cultural force that changed norms and redefined the boundaries of music, dance, and theater. Nijinsky's Afternoon of a Faun not only reimagined Debussy's music, but also helped to inaugurate a new era in ballet, where visual art, music, and movement are fused into one modern, unified expression. Today, Prelude to the Afternoon of a Faun is considered one of the most important works of early modern music. It remains a symbol of transition, a bridge between Romanticism and innovations of 20th century. Its influence extends beyond music into dance, visual art, and poetry, embodying a moment where arts aligned in pursuit of something more abstract, mysterious, and emotionally resonant. By uniting Debussy's musical vision, Mallarmé's poetic imaginations, and the Ballets Russes' theatrical daring, Afternoon of a Faun continues to captivate audiences more than a century later. Not through spectacle, but through subtlety, suggestion, and the sheer beauty of ambiguity. I would like to sincerely apologize for the long gap since my last upload. I've been incredibly busy with my studies at the Music Academy, and I simply didn't have the time to make new videos. But I'm very happy to finally be back. In the next video, I'll be doing a musical analysis of this piece, covering elements like harmony, orchestration, form, and thematic material. Is there anything specific you would like me to focus on? Let me know in the comments. If you found this video interesting, please consider liking, subscribing, and sharing it with others. It really helps the channel grow and reach more music lovers. Thank you so much for watching. See you soon.